Ramakatha Rasavahini, Prema Sudhamritavahini, Sathya Sanatani Dharma Swarupini, Shanti Pradayini Mokshakarini, Ramakatha Rasavahini, Ramakatha Rasavahini.
The third chapter of Ramakatha Rasavahini. King Dasharatha, who was without any children, being born to the three queens, at the end decided that they have to consult sage Vasishta. They sent word for the sage to come. And when the sage arrived, they expressed their anguish and asked for his advice. And sage Vasishta, after deep thought, advised them that they should not consider appointing anyone else other than someone from the lineage to rule the kingdom, and he advised them to seek the offices of sage Rishishringa and conduct the Putra Kameshti Yaga. So that's where we ended last week, if I remember correctly. So we will just read the slide again, and then we will continue if there's anything anyone would like to discuss. So I will ask Uncle Gopalan to read, please.
Sai Ram. Vasishtha dwelt long in thought. At last he opened his eyes and spoke thus. King, you need not grieve thus. Ayodhya will not be rendered masterless. She will not suffer widowhood. This domain will be gay, happy, and prosperous in unbroken festivity and evergreen with festoonery. She will be the guardian of right living, reverberating with music and joy. I will not agree to the raising of a prince from some other dynasty to the throne of Ayodhya. The grace of God is a gift inscrutable. The vow of righteousness which you are fulfilling will surely bring you the supreme joy of having a son. Do not delay any further. I invite sage Rishishringa, the son of Vivandaka, and perform with him as his high priest the sacred yoga sacrifice called Putra Kameshti, the yaga prescribed for those desirous of begetting a son. Make all the necessary ceremonial and ritual arrangements for the yoga forthwith. Your desire will be achieved without fail. The queens listened to these reassuring words spoken so emphatically by Vasishtha. They were filled with ananda. The bud of hope blew anew in their hearts. They retired into their apartments, praying most earnestly.
Thank you very much, Uncle Sai Ram, everyone. If anyone would like to discuss any of the points from this slide, we can discuss. If there are no interested in discussing any of the... Yes, Sai Ram, Ron, please go ahead, or Bina.
Sai Ram, just one question. The word yaga is used here. I sometimes come across the word yaga and yajna, and I do not know what the difference is. Is there a difference? Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Ron, for the question. Anyone who would like to answer this? The difference between yaga and yajna. Yes. I think there's no answer. Ron, I will. Sometime back, I think we had discussed this. Why it is yaga and what is yajna? Actually, both of them are synonymously used generally. Yaga is the only difference is the word jna comes in the yajna, which also signifies some level of sacrifice with knowledge. I think I will do some revision and come back. Yes, Sai Ram, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, I'm also not very sure, but just wanted to attempt. Like when we have like Ashwamedha Yaga, or in this case, Putra Kameshti Yaga. I wanted to know if there is a very, very specific, like in the case of Ashwamedha, we know it is to show the supremacy of the emperor, or in this case, Putra Kameshti, again, when the end goal is very specific, Kanna, is it yaga, whereas when it is like now we have Veda Purusha Saptaha Jnana Yajna, so that there it is a general overall good. Can that be told, Anna? I was just thinking aloud. I'm not very sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
Where there's a common good or general, means it's not very, very specific to a purpose kind of a thing, but yeah, but I'm not too sure.
Okay. Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother, I think we discussed this before, saying yajna is something like an offering or the sacrifice. And yaga is the process by which we're doing. That's something that I remember.
Yeah,
Not
so
sure.
I think it's slightly, because both of them come from the root yaj, which actually is either sacrifice or worship. Yaga is the action of offering, and yajna is considered the act or the process of offering. That's yaga is both of them are nouns only. It is just that one is done with some knowledge, with awareness. The other one is the process of performing the yaga also. So that's my understanding. It is just a grammatical nuance from what I understand. I hope it's good enough.
Anything helps, Sai Ram.
Yes. So yajna is considered a general word of any sacrifice which we perform. For example, Pitri Yajna. So there are so many sacrifices which one can do. But yaga is specifically prescribed in the Vedas, and you follow a particular process which is stipulated. I think that's considered yaga. But they are also synonymously used interchangeably. I will leave it at that. If anyone comes to know of anything, or if we hear Swami explaining, we can always revisit this. I hope that's okay, Ram. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, I have a question. What does Swami say for that line which says, "I will not agree to the raising of a prince from some other dynasty to the throne of Ayodhya"? What does it say in Telugu?
Yeah, I think in Telugu, what Swami says is, he says, Veru Raja Kumaruni, that is another prince from another, king dynasty. E Rajya Patika Cheya Nen angikarinchanu. So you see, one of the accepted practices is to take somebody, as
adopting a
adopting.
particular place. Yeah.
So adoption is also very prescribed manner in which a child can be adopted as one's own. I think Dasharatha must have discussed that because now that they are unable to they beget their own children from their own loins. So I think that must have been something which they would have asked Vasishta's permission for, and for which I think he said no.
Yeah.
So he said, because it's a accepted practice when somebody doesn't have a child of their own, they can, by adoption, that child, whoever is adopted, becomes rightful heir to the throne. Okay, I think that's what Vashishta is saying no to that. I hope.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So if there's no other interest in discussion, I think maybe we will go forward.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see. Okay, so fine. Go ahead.
The king searched among his entourage for the most appropriate emissary to be sent to Rishasringa, son of Vivabandaka, and to invite him to the imperial capital on such a mission. At last, he called near him his old friend, Romapada, the king of Anga state, and sent him with necessary instructions and equipment. Meanwhile, arrangements for the yaga were put through on the bank of the sacred Sarayu River. Attractive sacrificial altars were constructed in conformity with sacred injunctions. The city was decorated with flags and festoons. As was anticipated, the great sage Rishisringa entered the city of Ayodhya to the great delight of all with his consort Santa. Emperor Dasarathra welcomed the sage at the main gate of the palace. He ceremoniously washed the feet of the distinguished saint. He placed on his own head a few drops of the water sanctified by his feet. He then fell at the feet of Vasishta and prayed to him to inquire from Rishisringa the proper procedure for the contemplated yaga.
Okay, thank you very much, Uncle. Auntie, Mani Auntie, shall we read?
Yeah. మహారాజు విభాండక మహాముని కుమారుడగు ఋష్యశృంగిని పిలిపించుటకు తగిన వారెవ్వరో అని విచారించి.
So the king to invite the son of Vibhandaka, great Rishi, by the name Rishishringa, to invite him, the appropriate or qualified person he searched for.
తన బాల్య స్నేహితుడగు అంగదేశపు రాజుగు రోమపాదుని పిలిపించి.
So he identified his childhood friend who was the king of the country of Anga by the name Romapada. He called him.
అతనితో తగిన ఏర్పాట్లు గావించును.
With him he made appropriate preparations.
సరయూ నది తీరమున యజ్ఞమునర్చుటకు తగు అందమైన వేదికలు నిర్మించిరి.
So by the banks of the Sarayu River, the appropriate states or the I think it's Vedika means it's a ground.
No, Vedika is the stage.
Raised platforms. And the raised platforms for the purpose of performing the yajna were made in a very beautiful manner.
అయోధ్య ఎక్కడ చూచినను తోరణములతో కళకళలాడతొడగిను.
So the city of Ayodhya, wherever one looked, it was showing resplendent
Festoons.
decoration, festoons.
Festoons were there.
Festoons.
Yeah. అనుకున్నట్లు ఋష్యశృంగ మహాముని శాంత సమేతుడై అయోధ్యలో కాలు పెట్టెను.
So the Rishishringa, with his wife Shanta, he reached Ayodhya.
రాజు వారిని సింహద్వారమున పాదములు
I
కడిగి,
think auntie in English only that much I think.
இல்லப்பா இருக்கு வெல்கம் ஸ்டேஜ். வெல்கம்
sorry,
ஸ்டேஜ் வித் தி கேட் ஆஃப் பேலஸ் இருக்கேங்க.
Okay, yes, sorry about it. Okay.
రాజు వారిని సింహద్వారమున పాదములు కడిగి,
So the king at the grand entrance, he washed the feet of the sage.
ఆ జలమును శిరమున ప్రోక్షించుకొని
He sprinkled the water from there on his head.
లోనికి తోడ్కొని పోయి
He accompanied him took him inside.
ఉన్నతాసనమున ఆసీనుని గావించి,
At a raised seat he was placed.
వశిష్ఠుల వారికి నమస్కరించి
He bowed down to sage Vasishta.
తన ప్రార్థనగా యజ్ఞ విధానమును ఎట్లు గావించవలెనో ఋష్యశృంగుని అడుగగోరెను.
He requested or asked the king Rishishringa how to perform the Veda and the procedures related to that. He reverentially asked for it.
Actually, Vasishta was asked about this question to Rishishringa.
Is it Vasishta?
Yeah, Vasishta వారికి నమస్కరించి.
Oh, Vasishtula variki namaskarinchi means did Vasishta do namaskara to?
No. రాజు
Yes.
వారిని సింహద్వారమున పాదములు కడిగి ఆ జలమును శిరమున ప్రోక్షించుకొని లోనికి తోడుకొని పోయి ఉన్నతాసనమున ఆసనుని గావించి వశిష్ఠుల వారికి నమస్కరించి తన ప్రార్థనగా యజ్ఞ విధానము ఎట్లు గావించవలెనో ఋష్యశృంగుని అడుగగోలెను.
Oh, so he asked sage Vasishta to find out from Rishishringa how to. Thank you very much, auntie.
Yeah, okay.
So he asked sage Vasishta to find out from sage Rishishringa what was the method and the procedure to be followed for the yajna.
He did not directly
ask directly. He did not want to ask directly.
Rishishringa.
Very
He
nice.
asked Vasishta to go and ask him.
Okay, thank you very much, auntie. So he requested sage Vasishta to find out from Rishishringa. I will stop here. If anyone would like to discuss any of the points, welcome, please.
This Shanta by name, if I remember, was she the daughter of
Yes.
Janak?
No, from Dasharatha's own daughter.
Yeah, that's it.
But he had forgotten.
Oh.
In one of the discourses, Swami says, see, this what happens. Dasharatha gave her away as, because she was a daughter, and he forgot about it also. Apparently, and sort of I think King Dasharatha allowed her to be adopted by a rishi. Okay. So that she can serve whatever. But apparently he forgot, and when she came, he didn't even recognize that it was his daughter who was coming, and that Rishishringa was son-in-law. And Swami says, even this problem was there even those days. It's in one of the discourses Swami says that. Yeah, so that's what it is. Yes. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sai Ram, brother. I'm trying to understand little more about this Father Sevana because he's placing his water, sanctified water,
On his
by
head.
his feet. Can we understand this Father Sevanam a little more on this, uh, using this opportunity? Because sometimes I know they do Father Sevanam, but I don't understand much of this, the devotion on that.
Thank
I
you
know
very
on
much.
the Lord, how we pray to the Lord, we bow down to the feet and pray. But here also he's putting the water, sanctified water on his head. How that was taken, or what is any kind of significant behind of it?
So, sister, you're asking whether when he was washing the feet, whether the dirty
Yeah,
water is sprinkled on his head?
not dirty water, sanctified water. It clearly says it's a sanctified water. I
Yes, yes.
wanted to understand more.
Okay, good.
Thank
So, so Sister Aruna's question is, King Dasharatha is supposed to have washed the feet, and after, then taking sanctified water, which comes out of that washing of the feet, and he sprinkled on his head. So, question is, what is the significance of this? Because generally, we may think, some, we do Pada Puja for the divine or, Abhishekam, and then we sprinkle. But why should we take the water from our feet of Rishi and sprinkle it on one's head? What is the significance of that? Is the question from Sister Aruna. Anyone who is willing to share your thoughts or any understanding, please do so, Saira. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
So, Anna, in general, think touching the feet marks a sense of humility. That's why, in terms of offering obeisance, it is in general itself. If we see the act of bowing down, puts that sense of ego completely down. So here, the king, though he is a monarch and so on, when he is having, say, Rishishrunga come there, the act of bowing down marks a complete state of surrender and acceptance. And again, when he washes his feet and takes that, he is saying, by that gesture itself, in terms of taking that water and sprinkling on himself, both physically and symbolically, he's showing the kind of reverence with which he is receiving the sage. And when one goes with that state of mind, I think that is where grace also begins to flow. When the complete sense of ego is kept aside, when one bows down with humility, that is one. And generally, the feet also, like we say that when Swami or any person blesses also, like the hand and the feet are supposed to be, in one sense, like the antenna. So when the king touches with his fingers the feet of the sage, it shows how that kind of a grace flows through them. So it is at several levels. And also when the feet also represent, in one sense, like the foundation. So clearly going and showing their complete surrender is what that act itself signifies. So I'll say one, of course, we can look at it from the Pada Sevanam angle. Other is just the symbolic representation of keeping aside ego and being filled with humility and surrender. But I'll pause here, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to comment on it, please? Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother, just generally, not the water from the feet, but generally, when we sprinkle tirtham on the head, we think it is a blessing and it's a purification, something like that. So something to do with that, probably sprinkling Guru's, that when we wash the Guru's feet is also probably a blessing or purification, maybe.
Thank you very much, Sister. Anyone else would like to? Yes, Ron or Bina?
Saramanna, just wanted to mention here that when I was a child, I asked this question to my father, and what he had to say that touching somebody's feet, elderly or guru or Sant Mahatma, it reduces your karma from your side, and the guru whose feet are the blessing, he is taking from Kalimal from your side to him. That's what he had to say. So many times it happened that being a music guru from so many students, he wouldn't let much touch his feet just because he says that I cannot take that many karma or burden from. They have to reduce their own karma their own way in suffering. So I was asked, when I asked, I was given that answer. Sai Ram.
Very good, Sister. Very good. Thank you very much. Yes, Brother Rohit.
Uncle, I think this is a very nice, significant question. Um, I've read a couple of schools of thoughts about this because I too was very curious about what it can stand for since Swami hasn't explicitly explained why this it has been mysterious indeed as to why we do this. So two schools of thought that I had read before was that one was it was symbolic of your feelings towards the Lord, which is in the sense like when you're touching Swami's feet, you are basically saying how fortunate you are just to be at the feet of somebody, right? At the feet of the Lord. So that's like you are telling Swami through your action, saying that Swami, I know I'm not worthy enough to be with you completely. I'm so grateful that you are allowing me to be at least be at your feet, which is usually dirty because one walks on the feet. That was one thought where I said it's like a symbolic prayer and an act of humility. And the second one was, um, there was a discourse once where Swami had said like, don't try to walk ahead of me, you'll get lost. Don't try to walk behind me, you won't be able to catch up, but walk beside me so I can guide you, kind of thing. So um, in that school of thought, the logic was that when you touch Swami's feet, you are basically praying that Swami, wherever you go, I want to go with you, because a person travels with their feet. So it's a prayer to Swami that Swami, in the coming lifetimes, um, please, wherever you go, I want to come there because my life is incomplete without you. So when Swami gives us an opportunity to take Pad Namaskar, it is the greatest opportunity for us because we are basically getting the boon that next, wherever Swami goes, we follow Swami wherever. We have gotten the permission now to be with Swami. That's what I had read. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Rohit. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please? So if there's no one, maybe I will, everyone has nicely shared all the relevant points from base and I understand. I will just summarize. I will first start with Sister Veena's comment about what her father told. So I'm reminded of an interaction between Swami and Kasturi Garu. Apparently, in the olden days, when Parthi was built, Prashant Nilayam was ready, and Kasturi, Sri Kasturi was residing there. He was very close to Swami, so many devotees used to go and take his Pada Namaskar. And at one point, Swami had apparently told, look here, Kasturi, don't allow anyone to touch your feet because once you do that, that karma will come and you may not be able to handle it. So he asked him to desist from that. I think that's something which I was reminded when Sister Beena mentioned it, which is a fact. And I think there's a few points, Generally, we think a feet is a dirty and a lowly part of a body. But actually, it is not. In the Sanatana tradition, feet is not considered a dirty part. If you want to touch anyone of a higher stature, the only physical contact you can do is to their feet. You don't hug them, you don't hold their hands or anything like that. The only way you can touch them, the person, is on the feet. And the feet, as Sai Satish mentioned, feet is considered an antenna, a strong a point in the body which can attract and discharge electricity of various kinds. So that is also considered to purify somebody. So the feet and hands are considered very energy centers of the body. And that is one of the reasons people touch the feet. And in the Sanatana Dharma tradition, feet is not considered lowly. For everything, the feet is considered a very powerful part of the anga of the body from which people can transmit pure energy, and they can also absorb anything negative in a person and make the person better. As Brother Rohit said, yes, feet also talks about the path a person takes. So a path, it is the marga, in which we travel. So it is also something which each one of us tell, we will also walk the same path. We will take the example of that Rishi, and we will also follow the path. So in this case, because Rishi Shringa has come to perform the yajna, it is a way of Dasharatha acknowledging, you show the way and I will follow it, which is what Rohit was mentioning. So that's also an acknowledgement that we am surrendering to you. You walk ahead of me, I will follow you, or allow me to follow you. That kind of a thing also is coming through. Symbolizing all this, these are certain rituals which are built in Sanatana Dharma, so that we remind ourselves of the importance of that. So that's significant. Thanks for everyone who shared your thoughts. I think these are some things which Swami has at different points in different discourses described. Thank you.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Yes, Uncle.
Can I add something?
Yes, please. Yes.
There was some time ago, there was a very popular sage in India, North India, and he would not allow anybody to touch him, but he would bless them with his feet. So, and he always was higher and higher level. He used to sit there, and then people come at a lower level, and he allows them to touch his feet. Yeah.
Thank you. And on this point, even some of if we look at the Sankaracharya Pita, they will not allow anyone to touch their feet, but what they allow is people to touch the padaka, their the footwear. Actually, the people wash and then they use that, but they don't even allow for physical contact in generally many sannyasins. I'm so happy with that. Okay. So
One point here was like that is feet, but here the water sanctified by his feet mean, so his feet is so powerful. So through it's kind of, you are taking that blessing, kind of, right?
So the thing is, sister, and maybe I will go before others. The thing is, water is considered to be a good transmitter of energy. That's why water is used for everything. So the thing is, the energy in the body, in the feet, can be absorbed by the water, and that water will allow it to be transmitted to oneself. That's why water is used everywhere, because water is considered a receptacle of prana. Okay, the life force itself it has, so it has the ability to transmit life energy.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Pada Dhuli is also considered to be as holy as the Pada itself. So remember the story of Ahalya when
Yes.
Rama's feet, just the Pada Dhuli touched upon her and it made her, the stone was turned into a lady. So it has got so much power, Pada Dhuli. So the Pada Dhuli cannot be taken directly from the Pada. So when we wash it with water and then sprinkle it in our head, that means Pada Dhuli is blessing us. That's one reason also. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Auntie. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Paramana, just adding to what you were saying, when we have Kalasham or Purna Kumbham, all these are representations where they do avahayami, stapayami, pujayami. It becomes literally the invoking the deity, the presence of the deity in that form, and then containing it. That's where we see even during Dashara Yajnam, Swami at the end of it would take that water thing and do prokshanam for all the devotees, because ultimately it is in one way people who are near Swami can touch Swami's feet, but people who are seated far away also. Of course, the very sight of Swami itself purifies. But in one sense, having that kind of a prokshanam and that water falling on them is also redeeming one of all their sins, so long as they have that belief and faith. So it's just how that intangible becomes tangible through that medium. Saira.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. So just to again add something. See, in the Sanatana Dharma, even if you're giving dana, water has to be an integral part for process to be complete. Even if I give somebody rice or something like that, they will say pour water. So the thing is, the understanding is, for example, if you take a seed and you put it in the soil has all the ingredients, minerals, nutrients, and everything. But the nutrient cannot enter the seed and the seed cannot benefit from it. As soon as you pour water, the transmission of the nutrients to the seed takes place. Okay, even if the soil has all the best nutrients in the world, it is of no use if there is absence of water. So generally, for any process to be complete, that's why they say the wife has to pour water. Otherwise, even if the husband gives gifts, it will not be considered some dana. It will not, because the water poured by the wife is essential. So the wife becomes the water, the husband becomes the soil. When both come together, when it's given, it becomes complete. So water has phenomenal property of making everything in this world come alive, and without the absence of water. So water is a good medium which allows things to uh, go go through, and transmit the information. So that is even as from a physical scientific perspective, it has validity. But here it is at the subtle level also, it's the same thing. I think Swami has quite a places Swami has talked about each Panchabhuta has its own power, strength, and that is you have to invoke it for it to become complete. So I will stop there. If anyone else would like to communicate, please do so.
Thank you, thank you.
So that's why even mantra, you have to touch with water and then you sprinkle that. That mantra power is actually absorbed by the water. That's why even Tirtham and all the temples. So because they close the water vessel and chant mantra. As soon as you chant, from the energy of the mantra goes into the water. And then that becomes empowered water. So yes, Sai Ram, Rono Bina.
Sai Ram, just wanted to add that when Rishi Muni were cursing, even they would put the mantra and throw the jal there. Sorry about that. I just thought that I should mention. Sai Ram.
Next time, if anyone picks up water, we should be very careful.
What is the story again, please? What
No,
is
no,
the story?
Bina says, even if you want to curse somebody, take some water in the hand and then curse, then it'll be more effective, she say.
Okay.
Sai Ram, Brother
Sai
Rohit.
Ram.
Rohit, please go
Yes,
ahead.
Saram uncle. Yeah, just to add to this funny point, there's actually in the villages of India, there's actually the centuries old legends. I was reading, like, when somebody wanted to do like black magic or something, they would invite you to their home and offer you a glass of water to drink. something that they have. These are just some old village myths. I mean, we don't know how true it is, but yeah, there is that in India, villages is used to be widely believed that don't drink water in somebody's house you suspect who has no good intentions for you. Thank you.
Yes. This is called Malayalam Mantrikam. Yeah. So thank you very much. So, the water has a lot of power because water is the one which allows process called osmosis. Is it? I don't know. It's a scientific term. I don't know. Science, somebody can correct me. So, basically, the water seeps in and, anywhere. Is it osmosis or no? Maybe I'm not.
You're saying like capillary action, Anna?
Capillary action. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think I'm using the right term, but okay. So, is there anyone else? Anyone would like to discuss? Yeah. Sai Ram, Sister Shilpa, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, washing the feet means it's a abhishekam that we do abhishekam of Shivling the way we do abhishekam of the Shivling. It's a very spiritual and highly spiritual thing. And when we take the water on our head, means the energy pass in whole body from head. That is the a blessing all over. Like we are, as Swami says, surrounded. You are surrounded by my divinity. This is the how we it's like a kavacham. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. So it's a protective force. Thank you. Okay. Is everyone okay? Then if everyone is fine, then we will move to the next slide. Yes, Uncle Gopala.
Rishi Sringa wanted that the ministers and the scholars be seated in appointed order. He directed the king also to sit on his throne. Then he described the various processes of the ceremony so that the court priests.
Sorry, 1 second. I made a mistake. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Please go ahead.
The court priests could note them for their guidance. He gave them in such detail that everyone even knew where exactly he was to sit in the sacrificial hall. The sage decided that the yaga shall begin on the stroke of 7, the very next day. The news spread all over the city in a trice. Before dawn, every street was decorated with green festoons. Every road was packed with people pressing forward to the vast open space on the bank of the Sarayu, where the yaga was to be performed. The river bank was thick with eager populace. Rishishinga, with his consort Santa, entered the specially built Yaga Mandap with the king and the queens, while Vedic chanting and the music of bugle, trumpet, and clarinet and the cheers of the people resounded from the sky. Rishisringa was installed as the Brahma or the chief organizer for the yaga. He assigned various tasks like worship, recitation, chanting, propitiation, etc., to scholars in consideration of their qualifications. The offerings were placed in the sacred fire with the prescribed formulae by Rishishringa himself, with scrupulous exactitude, deep devotion, and faith. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Auntie, shall we read?
Yeah. అంత మంత్రులు పండితులు మహారాజు వారి వారి ఆసనములపై కూర్చునుటకు ఋష్యశృంగుల వారు ఆజ్ఞాపించి,
So the Rishishringa asked everyone to take their appropriate seats.
యజ్ఞ విధానములు ఒక్కొక్కటి విపులముగా తెలుపుచుండా,
So he explained in great detail every step of the procedure related to the yajna.
ప్రధాన పండితుడు దానిని వ్రాసుకొనచుండెను.
The lead scholars took notes of it.
ఎవరెవరు ఏ స్థానములందు కూర్చునవలెనో వాటిని కూడాను స్పష్టముగా తెలిపి,
he explained to them who has to sit in what manner. He did in detail that as well.
రేపటి తెల్లవారి 7 గంటలకే యజ్ఞము ప్రారంభించవలెనని నిర్ణయించెను.
We established that the next following day at 7 a.m. in the morning, the yajna would be started.
ఈ వార్త పురమున క్షణములో ప్రాకెను.
This news spread to the city within moments.
తెల్లవారి వీధులు పచ్చని తోరణములతో జనసమూహములతో కిక్కిరిసిపోయెను.
So the streets of the city from morning itself, they were decorated with greens and people were filling the streets.
సరయూ తీరము జనమయమాయెను.
The entire bank of Sarayu was filled with people.
రాణులతో కూడి మహారాజు స్వస్తి వాచనములు మిన్నుముట్ట, జయ జయధ్వనులు, మంగళ వాద్యములు, శుభ సూచనలు సలుప.
So with the queens, the king, as the blessings, words of blessing were chanted, and there were shouts of victory, victory, jaya, jaya, and there were auspicious musical instruments playing. With all the auspiciousness, the
Maharaja with his ladies, with his
queens,
he entered. ఋష్యశృంగుడు శాంతా సమేతుడై యజ్ఞశాల చేరిరి.
So the sage Rishishringa also, along with his wife Shanta, entered or reached the yajna sala, or the place where the yajna is going to be performed.
ఋష్యశృంగుడు బ్రహ్మగా ప్రమాణము స్వీకరించి,
the Rishishringa took the role of the Brahma for the yajna.
ఋత్విక్కులను వారి వారి అర్హతలను అనుసరించి,
so the other Ritviks who were the performers of the yajna, according to their qualifications and their deservedness,
ఆయా స్థానముల ఆయా పారాయణములు గావింప నియమించెను.
So he appointed them at different spots, the seats, where different types of recitation has to be done.
అగ్నిహోత్రముల నా ఆహుతులు ఋష్యశృంగుడు వ్రేల్చెను.
So the Agnihotra, the worship of the fire and the offering to the fire, were performed by the Rishishringa Rishi sage. Auntie?
Yeah, that's it.
I think one more, I think, Auntie. Because it says he performed the fire with, great Shraddha or something is there in the English translation. అతినిష్టతో
నిండు భక్తి శ్రద్ధలతో.
So I think it's a long sentence. I think some of it is going into the next.
Next week. Shall I read it?
I think, okay, we will leave it as we can
leave it
continue.
there. I think we can read it in there.
I think that's enough for us to discuss. Yes.
Most of them. Lots of things are to be discussed.
Okay, Sai Ram. Thank you, Auntie. So I will open it up for anyone to discuss any of the points which are discussed by Swami about how the yajna was starting and various instructions of sage Rishishringa. So I will stop there. Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother, is there any significance of having this yaga at the bank of Sarayu River? or it's just an open space that they were able to find.
Okay, sister has a question. Why the banks of Sarai River? Is there any specific significance? I think is the question sister is asking. Anyone who would like to comment or share your thoughts?
Brother, one,
You have an answer, sister?
I know, brother, one more question along that line.
Okay.
Why Rishisinga was installed him as a Brahma?
Yeah.
So that also we'll discuss, brother.
Okay.
Thank you, Sai.
Sai Ram,
Yes, auntie, please go ahead.
yeah. Regarding that Brahma, I would like to explain how it is done. In a yagna, there are many specifications how these bricks to be placed, how the yagna kunda, that is the where oblations are offered, how it should be done. There are specific ways. So that all the four Vedas have to be represented there in the yagna. So here, when Rishi Sringa took the this thing asana of Brahma, the chief organizer, he is assisted by three more people. That is, one is the Advaryu, who belongs to the Rig Veda. He is the chanter of Rig Veda. He knows the Rig Veda fully well, so he represents Rig Veda. Then the Udgatri is representing the Samaveda. He sings that. And then the Hotri is the Yajmana who is going to, I think Advaryu is Yajurveda. Hotri is the one who does who represents the Rig Veda. So all these people, and there's Brahma. Brahma is the main important character there, person there, who looks after the arrangements, how it has to be done, and the details, how the oblations have to be offered, and what are the chantings, and how they pronounce these Veda mantras. All had to be Brahma. The person who is taking the position of a Brahma, he had to know all these things. So that's why this position of a Brahma was taken by Rishi Sringa, who knew all the important details of the whole thing, how the bricks are to be faced, or how wide it should be, how long it should be. All these specifications are very much in detail given in our scriptures. So they followed it, and even now Swami, this Navaratri time, what we have, that yajna is completely what Swami has written here, exactly the way how it had to be. It was done before. Parayanam, they read all Rama and Itihasa, as well as I think there are Devi Puranam is also read, and I don't know all the details of the Puranas what are read. But the yajnas were it was completely according to the specific formula what they had followed. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, auntie. Thank you. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Hi, Raman. I was just trying to reflect on Sister Vani's question with regard to the river. I was trying to look at it from both physical and metaphysical point of view. Physical, generally the river becomes the source of sustenance for that entire place. So going back to the river also says going back to the source in one sense. So of course, though the city and so on are much of the civilizations have come closer to the river. In this case, we see, even when we see Bhagavatam and so on, when Parikshit learns of what happens, he drops everything and goes off to the banks of the river, where again Shuka Mahamuni comes. So both the origin and the end, because even at the end, when the final rites are performed and so on, it goes back to that. Or even when any of the Pitrukaryas and things like that are done near the river. So anything that comes for the here and the hereafter, much of it happens along the banks of the river. So here also, in terms of having that kind of a place to perform the uh, yaga makes sense. So yeah, and again, even for the deities and so on, it sets more of a natural ambience for everybody to keep aside the things of the world and then concentrate on something that is beyond the world. So yeah, but I'll just pause there, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to comment on anything? Okay, so maybe I will also just chime in. Yeah, Sister Vani, this as Sai Satish said, in the Vedanga, which is called Kalpa, the various aspects of how fire rituals are to be performed is mentioned. And in that, the choice of place where a Yagashala is established also is mentioned. And among all the places where it can be established, there are certain characteristics for every place. And generally, the availability of a water body, especially a flowing water body, was always considered essential. The presence of a goshala, so there some of them are integral to the performance of the ritual also. So I think because of that, water bodies, for example, even if a temple is built, there has to be tirtha, um, uh, is essential for every temple also. So these were some of the things which, even for human beings to find a place, there is for us to establish home also similar injunctions are given. Actually, nowadays we don't follow. We should not be living in a place it's full of snow, but we are. But that's different. Only rishis spend time in Himalayas, but we are living in a Himalaya region with a lot of snow. And so, because life becomes very difficult to, you have to freeze things, you can't have anything. So there are certain injunctions of where it has to be held. And generally, a river bank is considered very auspicious for many of these rituals. And as Sister Auntie has nicely explained, Sister Brahma is the chief priest. Why do we need a president for an organization? So it just makes things coordinated well. So Brahma, is the one ultimate decision maker of how things are done in a yajna. And that officiating priest was Rishi Shringa Rishi. So it just makes things orderly, and that person will make the final call for anything. And generally, the person is considered to be very well, it's a Chaturvedi. He knows all the four Vedas, and he is a master of all knowledge to perform that role. So I'll stop there.
Sai Ram, brother, in a way, can we see this river bank as the river flows and merge with the Lord, kind of like it's merged with the ocean, like the ultimate goal? That's the reason to show the sacrifice all goes to the Lord, kind of. I'm just
Yes.
thinking.
Yes.
And the other thing is the Brahma, is that the meaning of, I know is a chief priest even, does means something else also, like he takes thing as he installed him as a Brahma. So I'm thinking of little more than the chief priest, because he's installing himself. Is that the word is the correct then? Install him as a Brahma. So
It took the position of Brahman. That's what I think it stands in Telugu. So he took the role of Brahma.
as a creator. Like
No, see, the thing is, see, we talked, even Brahman is not necessarily the creator alone. Brahman is God.
Yes.
Okay, it's
So
not.
he installed here with the name of it's a role is given as a Brahma.
So Brahma is actually it's an expansive role. Okay, anything which has to a creative force a person performs is a Brahman. So
Okay.
in this, so an individual also can be Brahman, you know.
He has the vast responsibility.
Yes,
Vast responsibility to conduct how it should be conducted, who sits where, and what are the chantings which they do. Everything was in his control. So he had a huge responsibility in the case of conducting a yajna. So he was given the title Brahma. That's all.
Brahma.
Brahma.
Okay.
Yeah. Not Brahman. Brahma.
Brahma. Yeah.
So it's an expansive functionality, sister.
Yeah, that's all.
Brahma
Okay.
means even God is called Brahma only because he expands and looks after the entire world.
Mm.
But in a microcosm, in a Yajnashala, the Brahma role performs the same thing within that Yajna. So, you know, you can be performing the similar role in a micro environment. So, Parabrahman is, you know, he is looking after the entire world. Okay, but in a same way, God looks after the world. Brahma looks after everything in a Yajnashala. So I hope that answers your question. Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Araman, I was just going to say that here Rishi Shringa performed the role of Brahma absolutely without any Brahma, and that's why Parabrahman ended up coming, right? Because he did it so in such a perfect way that he could, anybody else would have done, they would have got somebody else, I think. But because Rishi Shringa did, he got Parabrahman himself coming in that form. So just wanted to add that. And secondly, even for that river thing and all that, many times I think even when such congregations happen, people just go and take a holy dip, and they may just come and sit in that yajnam with just that kind of, because many people may just come and sit with those wet clothes itself, symbolizing that kind of thing. So at several levels of physicality and beyond that, the river is helpful. And in this case, yeah, I think the very fact that somebody like Rishi Shringa had to be called to perform the Putra Kameshti shows how, like, we can run it on a parallel thread of how what was the uh, what was the true like Putra Kameshti, that part for Rishi Shringa may have literally, or Vashishta would have literally been God coming, whereas for Dasharatha it was at a level of a son. So I think for several people at several layers it meant different things. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Yes, Ron. Yes, Sai Ram, uncle, go ahead. Yes, uncle, please go ahead.
The story of Rishi Shringa is a nice story, but he was treated as a pure human being. He was very innocent. He did not know much except his own surroundings, and his dad and his father taught him that way. And one thing about him was his purity. He was a very pure soul. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Rono Bina, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, just getting back for a moment to the whole question of being by the river. Just previously, we were discussing how for taking water from the feet, how that is sanctified because water absorbs so many qualities, energies from holiness and so on. So I was just postulating that one of the benefits of having a yaga or yajna, any sort of ritual by the water, is that the water itself absorbs some of the sanctity of the ritual and spreads it to society or the world as a whole. So just a passing thought.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone else would like to? Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, I have a question. See, when Sage Vashishta is the um, family priest, why did he himself not perform the yajna? Why did he recommend somebody? So, and I did some bit of searching, and I don't, correct me if I'm not wrong, I don't believe Swami has addressed this directly. So I was reading a little bit and elsewhere, and it sounded like, at least the reasoning that was given is, um, to perform this Putra Kameshti Yajna, one has to be very neutral and not be closely associated with the family for whom it's being performed, just so that they maintain the strict procedures. Now, however, if you look at it, Rishyasringa is essentially the son-in-law of King Dasharatha, isn't it? So then, did he not know that, or is that neutrality is it possible? There's some questions I
Sai Ram,
had.
Sanjay. Anyone would like to comment on this? So, Sanjay, actually, Swami has addressed this in one discourse, but I don't think it is well transcribed in the discourses. I think Swami says it for every office or role, the appropriate person is needed for it. And actually, Swami also talks about the role of Shanta and so on in that discourse. If when I find it, I will, because there's an audio version is which I heard. It is available. Hopefully, one of these days it will come to light so that we can transcribe it and read. But it's true, Rishi Shringa. But in terms of Shanta, the reason apparently Dasharatha did not recognize it was I think that also Swami has addressed. Apparently, at one point, um, Dasharatha had, given Shanta as for adoption to Lomapada. Actually, Romapada was given Shanta as an adopted child. I think Dasharatha was advised of something. For that purpose, he thought, okay, he will give her away to Romapada. And actually, Romapada's daughter was Shanta, adopted daughter. And it's Romapada who gave her in marriage to Rishishringa. Apparently, for to deal with some, because Rishishringa was as, I think, who mentioned, he was so pure, as Uncle Gopalan said. Rishishringa's story itself is a big story. I mean, Swami has not dealt, so let's not go there. But he's supposed to have the head of a deer. He's born of a deer. That's the story, but we will not go there. But the thing is, he was considered so innocent, and just his presence will actually remove drought. So I think at one point the Angadesha had drought, and they had to bring some pure soul to come to step into the city or country, so rain will come. And that person also should be married or something like that. So the thing is, Lomabada, and we brought him to the city, and the rains came, and Shanta was married to him. This is the story. So Rishishringa was such a pure soul that wherever he stepped, all positive things will naturally appear. So the thing is, when Vasishta, of course, he was capable of doing things. He could have been neutral or whatever. But he also wanted to um, let the world benefit from others also who are there, so that people will come get their blessings as well. And I think there may be a greater significance of presence of Shanta there. Actually, Swami talks quite a bit about it in one of the discourses, where he said Shanta did everything. And even though Rishi Shringa was Brahma, many of the roles were performed by Shanta, and she made sure she was the one who was officiating on behalf of Rishi Shringa and administering how the yajna was performed. And Swami says the Shanta's role in the successful completion of the yajna was immense. And he said it is not recorded, no one knows, but the role of Shanta is phenomenal in the birth of Rama, is something which Swami talks about. So I will stop there, Sai Ram. I will try to get the reference for that discourse one of these days. I have to again do some research, because I've listened to that discourse. If a Swami shows the reference, I will share it with everyone. Sai Ram. Sai Ram, Sai Satish.
Sai Ram, the discourse is, I think it's in 2002 in Whitefield, where Swami is talking about this
Okay.
what you mentioned.
Yes.
Yad
And
bhavam tad bhavati, right?
exactly, that's the
Yeah,
one. That
correct.
yeah, that
Okay.
whole
Okay.
thing. Yeah. So just wanted to share that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe we can share the discourse link or something like next week, so others can. Is there a fully transcribed version there, or it's? Let's take a look at it and come back. But Swami has addressed this in great detail. So I hope that's good for everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. And so Swami also, is very particular who has to sit there, what their role, according to their arhata, where according to their
Deserve.
ability, qualification, he was fully utilizing them for various roles. And that also is very important. And how he was performed with Shraddha and Bhakti by Rishi Shringa.
In that yajna, there was one Yajman also.
Yes,
Putri was Yajman, is it?
Auntie Yajamana, I think is Dasharatha was the
Is the
Yajman, because
Yajman. Yeah.
on his behalf only it was being
Yeah.
performed.
One Yajman was there, and then the others, Advaryo, Hotri, and
Yes.
Udgatri were all there.
So, of course, that's why Swami says the king and the queens, along, accompanied by the queens, he comes because he's the one who is a sponsor of this
Yeah, Yajna.
yajna, but it is performed on their behalf by the Brahma. Like I think any puja, they will, Sankalpa is done by the Yajamana of particular puja or yajna, but on their behalf, the appropriate people who are qualified to perform on their behalf, who are knowledgeable. Yeah, so that's. Is anything anyone else would like to discuss? So I think it's about 10:13. I don't know if we start reading something, it may take too long, even to just finish the reading. So I think we can leave here and again convene again next week. Sai Ram, everyone. Thank you. We'll close with our Shanti prayers. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone. Sai Ram.